Good morning, friends of the internet. We are back again here in Farming Sim 15 on the Xbox One, and look what's happening here. It is raining its tits off right now. Look at this. This is crazy. This is really going to slow down harvest today. So, I had a request. Somebody wanted me in one of the comments below. They were asking me to do silage on camera. Well, I've already done some of the silage off camera, but for him, I'll go ahead and kind of show him again what we do with silage. It's a very boring process, if I'm being honest. Basically, let's see. Let's get to one of these fields here. Okay, so we're over at these fields. What happens when we harvest these fields is this actually lays down this silage here, or it's not really silage at this point. It's called chaff. So it lays it down here, right? And we use our crone to go ahead and pick that up. Let me get out of this guy. So as you can see right here, I know there's been a bunch of you guys that have seen this before on this, but you can see that we've already got this here is completely filled up. Both trailers here. Let's go ahead and kick this on. Oop. There we go. Okay, so this is how we basically harvest that. That turns it into what we have now, which is chaff. So when we pick up that residue off the field, we get this here, which is now known as chaff. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to set it in the front trailer. We're going to go like this, and we're going to come up here, and we're just going to dump it into here. Okay? Get rid of that, and get rid of that. There we go. So we'll just dump it in here. We'll slowly dump this in here. And this is all silage is. It's not the hardest. It's not rocket science, but it's, somewhat simple. So basically when we set up our harvesters to cut like wheat or barley, there's a setting on there that you can actually set it to have it discharge that waste on the ground. And it's the same way we can make hay out of that as well. So that's how you make hay is you just go and you get yourself a baler and you run down those fields and you harvest up all that and you'll make hay. So, and then that's how you make your hay bales. Not your grass bales, but your hay bales. So basically all we're doing is we're just using this piece of equipment here to, this is all the crone does. The crone has multiple purposes of getting chaff. You can cut grass, you can pick up this residue here that gives you the silage, or you can cut a crop. So there's multiple heads that you can get on this. And by that, you can see we've got this head right here, which is going to pick up this field. Now, if we go into here and we look under heads, I believe it is, and we scroll down here, we can see that there's multiple heads here. So these are all heads that go on the crone unit, okay? And this crone head is for corn. And so you can harvest a cornfield directly, and it will spit out and make chaff into those trailers that we have on the back. We got this unit that picks up the residue from the fields, the hay, and turns it into chaff. That's all this head does. Now, this head is a mower, which can actually mow grass and make grass into silage immediately. So we can just go, instead of like in the past, like you would take like a mower head at the beginning of the game and you'd put it on a tractor and you'd mow down grass and then you'd come back with a loading wagon and pick it up. That head just allows you just to mow it and dump it right into a trailer. So you don't have to pick it up and then go and convert it all over and everything. So it's kind of a different scenario there. Okay. So you can also use this head if you just want to harvest. As you can see down at the fruit types, it has wheat, barley, canola, and grass. So it mows the other fields, the canola, the barley, and the wheat the same way. Now, I prefer to harvest the wheat and the barley and then to have this left over here on the field. So not only am I getting the value of the harvest, but I'm also getting the value of the silage. So that's why I run this way. So basically now all I have to do is come along here and pick this up. And you can see the minute it picks it up, it turns it into chaff that goes right in there. And then once we go and we take this chaff and we put it in those collection bins, Then we're going to get it to ferment and then turn it into silage. So this is basically what somebody was asking me to show them, is like how to do silage off camera. Because I always do silage off camera, because this is basically what it is. It's hours of me spending just picking this up and throwing it into those silo bins and then letting it ferment and then spending hours shoveling it into the biomass thing. So what I'm going to show you is, once we get this trailer filled up, we'll go and we'll dump it back over there, and I'll kind of show you how the facility at the bio plant actually works, because we already do have some silage there. Whoop! Wasn't paying attention to my driving. Wasn't paying attention. So it's a fairly simple process. It takes a lot of time to do silage. And that's the hardest part about silage, is it just takes so long to set it up to, this harvester and these trailers are not cheap. So to get to this point to run silage with this thing, once you get this, it's a lot easier to do silage than when you have to do it with like a loading wagon and a loading wagon and like mowers on a trailer. That's the hard way to do silage. But since we can't harvest no fields, I figured this was the perfect time to kind of show you how silage works. It's a pretty simple process. There's really not much to it. And once that back trailer hits 50%, once our reading reads 50%, then it will automatically switch to this next trailer. And I find this is the simplest way, is just running these dual trailers like this to go ahead and fill those up. Just makes it a lot easier. So you can see there's really not much to it. So instead of making these videos where I spend 10 episodes just doing silage where I just do this is why I do it off camera, just because it does take so much time to do this. And it's tedious. It's just tedious work. But see, now that we have our windmills, the windmills is going to earn us, once we start to get more and more windmills, it's going to earn us more and more cash versus doing this way. This is still a great way to make money. As you can see in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and show you how much money we can actually get from it. But the windmills in the long run is the better alternative. But early game, if you can get into this unit as fast as you can and get this, you can earn some cash fairly quick. But it's a pretty huge investment, just because you need multiple things. This crone is not cheap in itself. And now I want you to take note. Down in the bottom right, you can see that we're harvesting, right? We're at 63,565, which is 99% full in both of our wagons. Now, the problem that you do face with using this unit is once it reaches max capacity, it doesn't stop harvesting like a harvester would that's automated. It will continue to suck this up and spray it in no place. So watch. So as I start to do it, it fills up, and we'll hit 64,000, right? Now it's full. Now watch. I can continue to harvest this up and nothing registers. It's a complete waste. So sometimes you got to really pay attention to what you're doing using this unit, because you can waste a bunch of your silage if you just get in a zone harvesting, listening to some music off camera or whatever. So I got to really be careful of that sometimes. So let's take a look here really quick at this. So just to kind of show you what your cost is for this unit here, you're looking at $14,000 for this head, which is nothing. But let's look at a harvesters. You're looking at a normal harvester that I run. These harvesters I run on this world is $380,000. Okay, a crone is $415,000. So they're not cheap for these crones. Now there is a cheaper alternative which is this unit here, which basically does, or wait, no, this unit here, which is 229,000. But this is a mod pack that you have to get, and I forget what mod pack it is. It's one of them that you can purchase, and it gives you this unit, but it's not quite as powerful. As you can see, it's like max power is, what is it, 325 versus 761. So it's 1,000 horsepower the Krone is versus 400. So it's a lot smaller and inferior unit. So I just usually just spend the money and just get the one that I'm comfortable with. Now the problem that you face is, okay, so you got those two things, and then you need a tipper wagon. I use these, so it cost me 70,000. So that's 35,000 each. So that's 70 grand that I spend just on trailers. Okay. Let's see. What else do you need? You need a way to unload stuff. Now, I originally used the telehandlers because they're a lot cheaper. They're, 85,000 for the cheap one and 1,800 for the bucket, which can be done, but your bucket's not that big. It's only 4,500. So I use a wheel loader, and these wheel loaders cost me anywhere from 165 to 189,000, but my bucket size is 6,400, so it's a lot larger. So you still need some way to unload that stuff. So that's where silage can get very expensive at the very beginning, especially when you're starting off and you're not making a lot of cash. So you're almost better off to just go with a mower, like we did. We started off with a tractor, a mower, and a loading wagon, which is fairly inexpensive because obviously you already have tractors at the beginning of the game. So all you got to do is buy a loading wagon and a head, but you got to have a tractor that's capable of running both at the same time. And then you just go around and you mow all this grass on all the little, edges of the maps and everything, or the fields. Okay, so let's pop in here real quick. Go ahead and set that wagon to unload. So basically, you see the process of how we go ahead and we pick up all the silage and everything and how we unload it. So let me unload this really quick, and then I'll show you the rest of it here. Okay, so we go ahead and we unload this, right? Slide this bad boy up here. Okay, so let me get out of this unit here. I'll show you how this works. So basically what you do is when you go to your help menu and you turn it on, okay, you can see that there's nothing really showing on that thing, right, on the menu. So when we run in here, you can see now it shows that there's a fill level of 0 and a compaction of 0, right? So let's come over to this one. This is the grass and everything that we throw in here to start, and this is the finished silage, okay? The finished silage shows just a fill level of 43%, okay? So if we run into here, this is going to show a fill level and a compaction. So basically what ends up happening is, let's run over here, and I'm not gonna blanket this, but I'm gonna show you how this works because I want to fill that up completely with silage. So basically what I do is I come over here, I pick up my loader, and I use this because it's a lot easier to do. So as we drive it in here, we'll leave this help menu on, and you'll see it still says 37% now because I've just barely walked in there, right? Or drove in there. So we're at 21% filled. Now watch our compaction rate. See, it starts to compact the more we drive over it. So basically what we have to do is we have to just drive over this back and forth. So basically this is all I do is I just drive back and forth and just let this fill level continue, or this compaction level go ahead. And once this gets 100% compacted, we then have to blanket it. And then once we blanket it, it'll show as all white, like it's been blanketed with plastic. Okay, and then that starts the process of making silage. So as we go ahead and we blanket it like this, or we compact it more, almost done. And there. Okay, now it shows that it's 100% compacted, still 21% full, and you see if we press RB, it'll blanket the silo. So the minute we blanket this silo, it'll cover it in plastic, and then instead of showing a compacting level, it'll show a a fermentation level in a percentage, and it has to ferment over numerous amounts of days. Then after the fermenting process is done, it'll automatically remove the blanket. And then once it does that, you will have, then this is what your silo will look like. So when we come back, after it's been blanketed for so many days, you'll see that you now have this process, and you'll just have this fill level. So let's go ahead and turn this off. Okay. So now this is the finished silage. This is the actual silage. Okay. So now you can actually see that we actually have some silage in our bucket because we accidentally scooped some up. Watch. Let me dump this. And you can see now it doesn't show us chaff. It shows us silage. So when we scoop this up now, we get this rolled up silage. Boom. So now we have that. So what we do with the silage is then we take it over here. And this is what processes the silage. So we come over to this unit here. We load it up into here. It's automatically done. You can see the numbers on the left-hand monitor go up. Those only go up to 20,000, so you can overwhelm this machine until it catches up. So you can see the number slowly goes down. So if you're quick enough with your loader, you can actually overwhelm this machine. But basically, you dump the silage in here, okay? And it just does its thing. It just goes down in there and is automatically done. So now what ends up happening is you get the value of the silage, but then you have that tank over there, which is the byproduct of making silage, which is the slurry. So that tank will automatically fill up with slurry as you process silage. That's why that slurry tank gets filled up, is because every time we dump it in here, it squeezes and processes all this slurry or all this silage, and then it compresses out that slurry and puts it over there. So again, I'll show you the dollar amount in case you missed it the first time. Okay, so basically, scoop you up some silage. Now, watch our dollar amount in the top right-hand corner. And it will flash a green number underneath our dollar amount that will show you exactly how much money that we make from this one bucket of silage. Okay? Before we do that, let's look at something here. Let's look at this. So silage right now there's a demand for silage. So there's 1.8 times the amount of silage cost that we can get for this. So let's look at what we get for this one bucket. So when we go up here, I'm going to pour it out, and then you'll see the green number flash in the top right hand corner below our dollar amount. So here we go. So we dump it, and it looks like we get $18,478 for that one bucket. That one bucket right there is all we get. Like, do you see how how much value? That's why I always try to keep silage, like spare silage, sitting here that's ready to go like this, just in case there's a demand. Because normally it's only about 10,000, I think we get per bucket. So we're getting almost 2 times the amount. So you can see if you spend some time over here with this, we can actually get a lot of money in the regards of just dumping silage. Like, you can see how much money we make. Just boom. Like, we only get like 7,000 for tree, or like 3,000 for trees and 4,000 for trees. So you can see how fast we can make money. And you know, our crops, like, we normally get about 20,000 on a crop of like wheat or barley or whatever. So you can see where silage can really elevate your game early on. But it just takes a lot. Like, I actually filled up one of these silos one day, completely filled it up, and then fermented it. And then I came back and I started to harvest it this way. And it took me like 3+ hours just sitting here doing nothing but this, just scooping up silage, dumping it in there. But by the time I was done, I had like 1.5 million in silage, and I think that was on a normal, like, without no demand for silage. So I mean, you can actually make some money. I mean, you can see, like, You know, we're making almost 20 grand, so we've already made like what, 30, 40 grand already. Just that simple, you know, versus the time it takes to get 20,000 harvesting a whole field, loading it into a truck, driving the truck over, dropping it off. So silage, you can make some quick cash. So like I said, someone demanded it in the comments. They wanted me to show how silage was done off camera or on camera, because I guess maybe they hadn't seen it done before, or they just wanted to see it done. But this is pretty much it. This is what the whole video would be for. Like what I do 22-minute episodes, which we're like right at our time frame now. So imagine 22 episodes over 3 hours, or 22-minute episodes over 3 hours. Like, we would have like a whole week of me just doing this, just driving back and forth, dumping silage. So I wanted to show you how it's done, but again, I'm gonna continue to do this off camera, just due to the fact that it is a lot easier to spend the time, the hours that it takes me to do all this off camera, to harvest this silage. I try not to harvest too much of it. Like right now is like a perfect time probably. What I'll do is I'll try to spend the time that we actually have while the demand's still here to make a little bit of profit. But I'll finish harvesting those fields off camera and filling this up and fermenting it and everything all off camera. Just because it just takes so long. But you asked for it, somebody asked for it. They wanted to know how it was done. They wanted to see me do it on camera. So there you go. We are at our time frame though, so I got to end this video. It's been a rainy day. It's been a slow day. It's been, you know, a repeated episode. I've shown how silage is done before, but there was a demand for it, so I needed to show it. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow us on Twitter. That way you know when we're posting new YouTube content and we're live streaming. If you haven't checked us out on Twitch or YouTube Gaming, come hang out, be part of the audience. And until next time, guys, we'll see all your faces later. Thanks so much, guys, for checking out my video. If you enjoyed that video, hit that thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe for future videos.